Hi everyone, very good evening to all of you and welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Harshit Gautam and today we are going to discuss about resume preparation. How to represent your resume to recruiters and how can you evaluate that whether your resume is perfect for selection or not, whether you are going to be selected or not after applying with the resume. So today we will discuss about like what are the different bullet points that should be present and what are the mistakes that you can avoid. So in every demo, we talk about that we will have exclusive resume preparation session. So today is the day when we are going to discuss this. So just 1 second. Yeah. So first of all, we will discuss why bullet points are matter. Why are they important in our resume? So what happens when you apply for a job, there will be 1 page or 2 page of resume, and there will be a lot of matter. For example, you will mention about your educational qualification, your experience of past companies, okay, and every information that you think that is important for you to represent in front of recruiters, you will mention. But recruiters don't have enough time. They will be getting a lot of resume. So what do they do? They look for bullet points. Okay. For example, if this is your resume, so on the top, there will be your photo or your name and your mobile number, LinkedIn profile, all this. After that, you might have your experience, your qualifications, and everything that you need to represent. For example, projects also. So, what does a recruiter see? They will look for bullet points. They will see, okay, these are the projects the person has done. This is the college, this is the degree. So, this is why bullet points are very important. Now, while putting the bullet points in your resume, you should focus on some things such as bullet points allows for quick communication of key points. If you put a lot of like important bullet points, it will be easy for you to communicate. Okay, those bullet points will directly communicate with recruiter and it will tell them that these are the things about this person and this is the information. Then it increases readability. They break down complex information into diff- like small parts. So if you have done many projects, so if you mention those projects as bullet points, it will be easy for recruiter to read it, and it recruiter will get all the information very easily. Then you can highlight your achievements, right? You can highlight your all achievements. So what will happen? It will make easier to showcase your specific accomplishments while working on a project or in a company or even the college also. You might have achieved something. You might have performed very well. So it will help you to highlight that part. Then if you put bullet points in a good manner, then it looks good. Your resume will look neat and clean. All right. So this is why we should focus on bullet points. Now we will see what are the components of effective bullet points. So the first thing is action verbs. Your bullet point, your strong points should start with a strong action verb. For example, we have led, development. So you can mention that I led the 15 people's group in the project. This will showcase a strong representation. Then task. You can clearly describe the task or responsibility you handled. For example, in project, or in college, in your team, you did really good task. So you can mention that. Then outcome or result, right? So you can mention that this was the output of my work, my project, my experience. Then what should be the formula? So what you can do, you can write an action verb, then task, then outcome. This is the way you should mention your bullet point. All right. Now we will see one example of a bullet point, an effective bullet point. Now, the example is that developed a new training program, reducing onboarding time by 30%. This is an amazing way to represent your bullet point, your achievement, your accomplishment. Recruiters really get affected by this kind of representation. There are higher chances that your resume might get selected for next round. Now we will see that why we should start our sentence using action verb. So they make your experience sound dynamic and impactful. Once you mention a strong action verb, it will help them to know, okay, this person has done some impactful work. So this person is going to be impactful for us also. Then what are the examples of strong verbs? For example, we have led, improved, designed, achieved. These kind of strong action verbs you can put in your bullet points. Then we have kept here some weak verbs that you should avoid while using in bullet points. For example, responsible for, worked on, helped. These are not that impactful. So you should avoid them. All right. Now, one another important thing, guys, that you should focus is quantify your accomplishments. All right. Always put numbers. For example, you can say that increased sales by 20%, managed a team of 15, reduced cost by $10,000 annually. So what happens when you put numbers? It gives a clear idea to recruiters. Okay, this is this like by this person. The person worked on project, and this was the final output. For example, we have increased sales by 20%. So this is kind of a, an achievement for the person, the project. So this you should mention. These things make your resume look good and very impactful. Then tips for quantifying. You can use percentage, dollar amounts, and time saved. See, time is money. So in some projects we have done where we reduced time. For example, there was a customer which was taking 10 hours to do a particular task. So we created a solution. After that, the same person was able to do same work in 2 to 3 hours. So this way you can mention. And there is a question, guys, that how can I mention numbers if I don't have exact values? I worked on a project, but I don't know the real values. So you can give a range. For example, if you don't know exactly this 20%, so what you can do, you can give a range that 15 to 20% or 30%. All right. So this way you can say that increased sales between 15 to 20%. So this way you have to quantify your accomplishments. And this is really important and impactful in your resume. Then something very important, that you should be specific and relevant. For example, tailoring to the job. So what does it mean? You should customize bullet points to match the JD, job description. So what happens when you apply for a job, you will have a JD that, okay, after getting the job, this will be your job responsibility. This is this kind of work you will have to do, this kind of technology you will have to use. So according to that, you should customize your bullet points. So every time you apply for a particular job role, I've seen many people that they see the vacancy and they hit the apply button directly. They don't go for JD, they don't match their resume with the JD. This is the biggest mistake a person can make. So you should not do this. Once you want to apply for a job, first check the JD. Then focus on relevance. Don't put anything in your resume. If you want to get selected for next round, if you want to get a job, then don't put anything in the resume. Highlight the most relevant experiences and skills. What happens? In past, you might have done graduation in a different field and you really have a good knowledge on that field. After doing data science or data analytics, you may have knowledge of this field. But when you apply for a particular job, they ask for particular technology, right? Particular technology and techniques, skills. So you should highlight those points, those techniques and skills in your resume. Then use industry terminology. What does it mean? In every industry, there is a particular terminology that is used. So the question is, how can I get that? So when you will be studying that domain, you will be doing research and you will see the JD itself, job description itself. There, the industry terminology is mentioned. So you can prefer that and you can get to know that what are the words, terminology that has been used in this field, in this domain. So you should use those. For example, for a data science position, if you want to apply, there is a job vacancy and you are applying. The job is for data science. So in place of writing analyzed data, you have worked on a project where you did this task. So in place of writing this word, this sentence in your resume, you can mention that developed predictive model using machine learning algorithms, resulting in a 20% increase in forecast accuracy. So I hope if you read this sentence, you can find that, okay, this is really relevant to the domain, to the data science, and this is really impactful. If this person is using this terminology instead of this, so there is low probability of being selected. But if you mention this way, like develop predictive models and so on and so forth, so there are higher chances that recruiter may get impressed and your resume gets selected for next rounds. All right. Now we will see that what are the common mistakes that you can avoid while creating your resume, while building your resume. So the first mistake is vagueness. You have to be very specific to the JD and to the job domain, job description. All right. Then you don't have to repeat the same action verbs or task. For example, if you mentioned once that developed AI solution. Okay, so in again another bullet point, you should write a different way, right? Don't mention the same thing again and again. Then you don't have to overload. What does it mean? You don't have to put too many bullet points. You have to prioritize that what are the bullet points that are relevant and those are needed for this particular job role. So you have to mention those only. You may have different bullet points that you think that those are important, but you have to prioritize them. All right. So don't overload. Then you have to avoid irrelevant information. I will again say don't put anything and everything in your resume. Whatever is the required and important, put those keywords, put those words in your resume only. Okay. For example, we have mistake which you can make that worked on various projects. This is really the biggest mistake I can think. You might have done various projects, but don't put this way. Okay. Instead of this, you can mention the projects itself, or you can say that spearheaded a cross-functional team project leading to a 15% increase in productivity. So this way you can avoid the mistakes. All right. Then now we will see some examples of impactful bullet points. Okay. So before you could mention that responsible for managing a team. Okay. But now after attending this class, you don't have to write this. You have to mention in this way that led a team of 50, 20, 10 to complete projects on time, improving efficiency by 15%. So this is the perfect way to write your achievements or showcase your abilities, right? Then additional tips. First, that be honest and authentic. Recruiters know that whether the person applying for the job is authentic or not, and they really want authentic and honest people. Then keep it concise. What happens? Some people, they will mention the bullet points in multiple lines. You don't have to do this. You have to avoid this. You have to use only 2 to 3 lines for one bullet point. Then there are different formats of resume. For example, if you have a page of resume like this, so either you can write like this, but you don't have to do this. You have to do in parallel, right? First this way, then this way, then this way. This way you have to put information. This looks neat and clean and impactful. A person likes to see this kind of resume. After that, there are some famous job portals that you should be active on. For example, we have Naukri.com, Shine.com, and so on. So your profile should be updated there every time. You should keep checking for jobs, right? Then if you go to Google or any browser and you directly search, for example, if you search data science job in India, data science job in India, so you can find really good results. These are some screenshots of them, and you can also go to browser and you can search for it. All right. Now we were talking about keywords. So what happens, friend? Nowadays, there is one thing in market that is called as ATS. I hope you must heard about it. So what is this? This is applicant tracking system. So when you apply for a job, you are not the only person who is applying for the same job. There are multiple applicants who are applying. In some cases, there are more than 1,000 or 2,000 job applications also. So what happens? All the resumes a recruiter will send to ATS. It will check for keywords and it will select some resume. So what happens if the keywords those are required are not present in your resume? So ATS software will not select the resume and you may not get a chance to sit in the interview also. You have the knowledge, you have the skills to crack the interview, But what if you don't get a chance to sit in interview? So to avoid this, what you can do, you can add specific and important keywords in your resume. Here we have different job roles and different domains for the required keywords. For example, we have for analytical skills, business understanding, data management, soft skills, then technical skills and tools. For each, we have written keywords. You can prefer them and you can use them in your resume. Okay. Now we will see some important thing. Describe a challenging project on your work. You may have worked on some projects. Okay. So you should describe challenging points that you faced while working on a project. Then you should mention that how do you stay updated with industry trends. You should work on that. You should keep researching and you should know that what are the industry trends. For example, nowadays something called as LLM is very famous. That is nothing but large language model. So this way you have to keep updated yourself according to the industry. All right. Then give an example of a goal you set and how you achieved it. This also you can mention in your resume. Then describe a time when you had to work with difficult team member. While working on a project, you may have worked with some difficult team members. For example, your team lead or your colleagues, your juniors, your seniors. This way you will have difficult team members. So how did you tackle it? How did you work with them? These things recruiter wants to see. Then what do you think? What do you do if you made a mistake that no one else noticed? See, we all are human beings. We all can make mistakes. So what will you do to avoid this? All right. So these are some things that you should do while mention that you while creating a resume. But one thing important, guys, after creating your resume, how will you evaluate your resume? How will you know that, okay, my resume is good or not? For that, also, we have a solution. What is that? Let's see. If you go to our official website, which is 360digitmg.com, you will see our beautiful website. There you can find different courses, offline and online. Then you can see mind map, which is really important for revision and everything. Then you can find learning resources and everything you can find. So if you go to our learning resources, you will find resume optimization hub. So what you can do, you have to upload your resume here. Once you upload your resume here, and you have to describe the job description. Copy the job description you got and just paste it here. And after that, you can compare your resume. Once you compare, what happens, it will give you a score. For example, 60, 65, 30, sorry, 70. And it will also tell you that what are the keywords or bullet points, those are missing. And if you put them also, your ATS score will increase. And this way you can check whether the resume you are going to apply with is perfect for applying or not. And you can cover up those mistakes. All right. If you go to our official site, you can find our mind map also. So you can use that for your quick revision, understanding of different concepts. Okay. So this way we have our mind map also. You can go through our YouTube channel where you can find different videos on different topics. For example, data science and data analytics, we have different videos. So you can subscribe our YouTube channel. If you are new, then please subscribe our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for latest updates. And like this video also. Thank you all for joining us. We will like to see you in next upcoming videos. Stay tuned and goodbye. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.